So I'm back again doing another video. I was going to do something really simple and easy to follow, but I changed my mind and we're going full festival. So I'm going to get started. So the primer is Illamasqua Hydra Veil. Great for most skin types I've found. I use it on my clients, not myself. If I can get into it. You only need a tiny bit. Literally just spread a bit on. Take a big fluffy brush and just pat it in all over your face. Just let that soak in. So I'm going for a structured brow again, and I'm going to be using Illamasqua brow pomade, and that's in the shade Strike. If you can see that. And I'm using that with the P. Louise Acid Rain brush. Just take a bit of product. Just go around your brows. Just use a tiny bit of product at a time, because it does go a long way. Don't worry if you make a mess, because we're going to be carving the brows out after. You want to stop just before the edge, so we're going to do it natural brush stroke so it looks like a natural brow, just faded in. So we're going to fill them in. And then on this side, we're just going to do tiny little brush strokes using your thin brush. Yeah. Same on this side. One of my brows is slightly shorter than the other, so I just have to make it a little bit longer. That's fine. Brush strokes again. Don't worry if your brows don't match. So next we're going to use the P. Louise base, and that's in shade 2, with the Acid Rain concealer brush. Ignore my mucky brush. pop a bit on the back of your hand, and we're going to carve out the brow. Make sure you've got get plenty of product on your brush, and we're going to start at the arch. Keep dipping your brush back in. Make sure you cover the lid. While you're doing it, do it in a tapping motion. It does help to set the base. And don't worry about your edges at the minute because we will blend them in. Exact same on the other side. Just keep on with it until you're happy. Just going to take a little bit of product and I'm just going to go around the top of the brow. You don't have to do it. I just like to, just to make sure it's all tidy. There we go. I'm going to take a fluffy brush. This is just a blending eye brush that was from Primark. I think it was about £1, but it's really good. It's probably one of the best brushes. All we're going to do is just buff out the edges. Otherwise, if we don't, when you come to put your foundation on, it's really hard to cover the lines. And just pat your lid. Gets rid of the creases. If you do get any of the product into your brows, don't worry about it. Just take your brush. You don't need no product, because all we're doing is just removing any foundation or anything that you might have got into your brow. Okay. So I'm going to be using the House of Sparkles Neon Pigments. This one is in Limoncello. And I'm going to be using one of the Unicorn Cosmetics brushes. See, it's really small. Just take some product. You only need a little bit so you can build it up, otherwise it ends up falling out everywhere. Just going to start on the inner corner, just patting it in. Just gradually build it up. Make sure you haven't got a sharp edge. So just little circular motions just to get rid of that. We will be building colours up again at end, so don't worry if it's not as bright after you've blended. Same on the other eye. Make sure you keep tapping off the excess product on your brush. Just makes it a bit easier if you don't got tons on. Because as you can see, you do get some fallout. Don't worry if you do, we will clean it up. And this is the main reason that I tend to do my eyes first. Because I am very messy. I get it everywhere. Again, just buffing out edges. Then just keep going back in until you're happy with what you got. Next we're going to be using another House of Sparkles pigment, and this one is Sour. If I can get lid off. There we go. I'm going to be using a slightly bigger brush for this one, and this is one of the Peaches and Cream brushes, and it is PC34. You can see it's just slightly bigger. We're going to take that green, tap off the excess, and we're just going to go into the middle. Get a bit at a time. Don't worry too much about blending it all in, because we will be going back over it. Same on the other eye. So all I'm going to do is just wipe off the pigment onto some tissue and just go over that edge really gently. On both sides. And then I'm just going to tap over where the join is. You will lose some colour, but it's fine because we'll be going back in. Take a bit more green. Just keep going in and out until you're happy. There's no limit to the amount of times that you go back in and out. It is literally just until you're happy with your blend. A bit closer so you can see. All I'm doing is just tapping over where the two colours meet. And then if I find, like on this side, I've lost a bit of green, I'll just get a bit more green and I'll just pat that back on. Like I say, you just do it until you're happy. A bit much on that. So. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in with the Stacey Marie Carnival palette from Be Perfect, and I'm going to use these two colours. So I'm going to start with this one, which is in the shade Mood, just to do this outer corner. So I'm going to go back to a smaller brush. This one is the PC07 from Peaches and Cream. I use a smaller one just because I've got a bit more control. So, just going to lightly dip my brush into Mood, check off the excess, and all I'm going to do is just go along the lash line at the bottom and just bring it out just a little bit, and then I'm going to bring it back in to make a triangle shape. Just keep doing it into whatever shape that you're happy with. Blend out the edge just a little bit, don't worry too much because we are going to be going around it with the light colour, which is Sky. All I'm going to do is just tap it to get rid of that edge so it starts blending in with the green. my brush with the green on. Now I'm going to tap a little bit onto the edge. It just helps to blend in the colour if you've got a bit of the other colour. This is a process. It might take a while, but keep at it. Honestly, it'll pay off. Keep wiping excess off my brush, and I'm just going to keep tapping them two colours in together. And a little bit more green. Just until I'm happy. That's how the colours sit. And do the same on the other eye. In the triangle shape. I just like to pull it out a little bit. Not too much though, because we have got another colour to put around. So again, I'm just tapping that edge. Take some green. You do have to top your colours up quite a lot. There's a lot of blending that goes off. To make sure you don't lose your colours. Just make sure you are wiping your product off while you're blending. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in with the light shade of blue, again from the Carnival palette, which is Sky. And I'm just very lightly going to go around the outside of the darker blue, just patting it on. Make sure you do shake off the excess, otherwise you'll end up going in too heavy. Just gently blending in that edge. taking it right over the top of the other colour. And we're just going to blow it out. And all that does is just gives it a more dramatic look. It's Badwin Festival. I'm going to go back in with the small brush with Mood just to top it up. So as you can see where we've blended, we have lost a little bit of colour, which is fine. So honestly, it does all come together. Exactly the same on the other eye. Just clean the brush. Back into Sky. Make sure you are being gentle. Back into Mood. Again, just topping up where we've lost colour. Just be careful when you're going in on the same bits that you don't press down too hard, because if you do, you can get muddy patches. Done. So that'll do for now. All I'm going to do is take a bit of makeup remover just to clean up all this fallout that's fell out underneath. It looks a bit crazy at the minute. Once it's done, it will not. Right, what I'm going to do now is pop on some mascara. All I'm using is a cheap Avon mascara, just because I am putting false lashes on. And all I'm doing is just removing any pigment that's fell out onto my lashes. I also find that it does help your lashes to stick. There we go. I am going to be using, I'll just chuck top floor, Unicorn Cosmetics lashes, and these lashes are called Unicorn Flutter. You may need to cut the lashes down because obviously not everybody's eyes are the same shape. So all I'm going to do is just pull them out with a pair of tweezers, and then I'm just going to take off a little bit at the end, just because they're just slightly too long. So, using my Duo Brush on Lash Glue, I'm just going to put a little bit just along the lash band. Be careful not to put too much on, otherwise it'll take a long time to dry and it won't stay in place. I'm just going to leave them lashes to go tacky, because they're going far easier if they are a little bit tacky. Just trimming the other lash. Okay. Apply some glue to that lash. So I'm just going to waft them a little bit, just to help them dry. And then I'm going to apply the lash. As I said in my last video, the easiest way to apply a lash is to keep your head straight forward, get a mirror underneath, look down into the mirror and place the lash on top of your lashes. So if you're closing your eye and you put the lash on, when you open it, obviously your eyelid does move, so your eyelash will move. So just looking down, and all I've done is just pop the lash on top just to see where it sits. Once you're happy with where it sits, then you can use your tweezers to position it into place. So all I'm doing now is just pressing it into place. Just squeezing the lashes together with my own lashes, because I find it helps that they stick down. So get the other lash, exactly the same again. Mirror, look down. Drop it onto where you want it. Once you're happy with where it sits, then you can start pushing it into place. Just squeezing it together. Just got a bit of glue on my tweezers, so I'm just gonna wipe it off and then push that into place. for lashes. What I'm going to do now is take some of the P. Louise base. Don't need a great deal. And I'm just going to apply a little bit to the underneath of my eye. This just helps again tidy up any fallout, and also helps the eyeshadow stick that we're going to be placing underneath our eye. So, don't need a great deal. I find this base is also really good as a concealer. So I've just patted a bit on, but you can see the difference. So obviously I've got a bit of colour from the sun, and I've got quite a lot of freckles as well, and it just covers it really easy. I'm going to take that brush I used earlier just to buff out the edges. Again, just for when we apply the foundation. Make sure you do go up to your eye. There we go. Right, I do not have any really bright eyeliners. I used to have, and then NYX seemed to have stopped selling them or whatever. You just cannot get hold of them. So what I do is I like to take my MAC liner, which is in Gone Blank. See, it's quite a big liner. All I'm going to do is pop it on my waterline. Both sides. Don't worry if you move any of the products underneath. Just use your brush and just move it in again. Then I am going to take a flat brush. For this I'm going to be using my Zoeva 144. And I'm going to be taking the neon green liner. Not liner, eyeshadow even. And I'm going to be placing it on top of my waterline. If you do this, just be careful that you don't get it in your eye, because it can be slightly uncomfortable. Set it all the way along your waterline. I find that if you pop it on top of a white liner, it makes your colour stand out a lot more. It also stays on a lot longer as well. Does work with any eyeliner and eyeshadow if you top it. Now I'm going to go in underneath the eye with the blues I used earlier. All I'm going to do is just drag this down, just so everything connects. Just use a tiny touch of the darker blue. Then I'm going to go in with just a pop of the green. We don't want too much green because obviously we have got it on the waterline. So we're just going to use a tiny bit. Just going to blend it slightly. And then we're going to take the yellow and just connect that line. Same on this side. There we go. Starting to look slightly less crazy. Only slightly. go. I'm going to pop a little bit of mascara onto my bottom lashes. So I like to do all this before I put my base on, just so I can clean up anything that I need to. Same on the other eye. There we go. Right, onto the base. I am going to be using MAC Studio Fix Fluid. This one is in the shade NC35. It is a little bit darker than what I normally wear, but I find for festival looks, you do want to go a little bit darker. So I'm just using it in my brush just because I ain't got a pump on mine. Just going to apply a few dabs just around my face. And just a little bit on my neck. As you can see, it is a little bit darker than my skin tone, but I've got a bit of tan. Just for some reason, not on my face. I'm then going to use my Peaches and Cream PC19 brush, and all I'm going to do is just dab it in. Be careful not to take it too close to your eyeshadow. We will be using a smaller brush after, just to get anywhere that we've missed or any awkward bits. Just pull it down on your neck, just so that everything connects. A bit of a smaller brush, and I'm just going in between my brows, close to the top of my brow. So you don't want to do that with a big brush because you're not going to get it very even, and you're just going to make a mess. So let's pat that in. Don't worry if you get it in your brow like I've just done. Just going to do what we did earlier, and we're just wiping it off. There's absolutely no product on that brush at all. It's literally just wiping off the mess that made. Go just to the inside of the eye. Don't worry about going too close to your eye, in the corners of your nose. There we go. Just drop my concealer on the floor. I'm now going to use MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in NC20. Just going to put a couple of squirts onto my hand. All I'm going to do is, using that same brush that I've just used, just wipe off the product, take a little bit, pop it under your eye, again leave a bit of a gap, just gives you some room just to blend it in. I like to bring it down into a triangle shape. There we go. Excuse me, got runny nose. Same on this side, not going too close. Into a triangle. And your chin. Line down your nose. And then triangle in the middle of your head. There we go. Then going to use my Zoeva 110 face shape brush, and I'm just patting that in. Don't rub it because you will take off product. Literally just dabbing it in. You can see the difference. Going on your chin and under this eye. On your nose and onto the forehead. I'm just going to put a bit more concealer on just because I've dipped in my green brush and now I've got a bit of green chin, which is never good. There we go. I'm now going to use my Revolution Fast Stick in F13. I use this to contour. You don't have to use a liquid contour, you can use a powder. I just find that they give you a more defined look. So I'm doing is a line straight down, just underneath my cheekbone, both sides. If you struggle to see where your cheekbones are, squeeze your face in, you'll see. So just a line on each. I'm then just going to go around my forehead, not too much because you don't need it too dark. And then I'm going to do a line down each side of my nose and on the end. I am going to do a little bit of contouring on my double chin, just because we want a defined look. Brush wise, I am using one of my Real Techniques brushes and it is a contour brush. So for this, you just want to dab it. It does take a while, but you will get there eventually. And you just want to keep dabbing it. Just until that solid line has gone. Just bring it up towards your hairline. There we go. You can see the difference. Makes your face come in. Again, I'm going to do the same down here. Don't worry too much about getting this perfect because it's supposed to be hiding things. You can see the difference. I look like I've just lost a stone. So just patting that in. Forehead. And do that until you are happy with your blend. There you go. Tighten up your side of your nose. I'm just gently backwards and forwards really gently. You don't want to pull off your foundation. And then just patting it on the sides of the nose. What I am going to do is take my MAC powder, and this is the mineralised skin finish in dark tan. Just to keep everything in place, I'm just going to take some of that and just go over the top of my contour. Yep. Keeps everything in place and just makes it that little bit more intense. So don't have to do this. You don't have to contour it all if you don't want. Just popping a bit on. Down my nose. Just be careful not to put too much on your nose. And just a little bit where we contoured earlier. There we go. I'm now going to go in, before I set my under eyes, with Illamasqua's Colour Veil blusher. Just this one. And it is in the shade Frisson. I love this colour. It's really pink. All I'm going to do, again, there is some product in the lid already, so I'm just going to take a brush, lightly dab it in till you've got some product at the back of your hand, and just dab that onto your hand. Otherwise you're going to get that blob of pink onto your cheek. So I'm doing my product I've got then is I'm just going to dab it onto my cheek, and I can gradually build that up, and it's not going in a big blob, and it's not too intense, as you can see. And then I'm going to use what's on my hand for the other side. It wants to go onto the apple of your cheek. Again, if you smile, you can see where it needs to go. And I'm just going to slightly dab that up into my contour, just so that everything all blends together. There we go. I'm going to set under my eyes with MAC's Mineralised Skin Finish again. This shade is Medium Plus. I'm just going to use my Peaches and Cream PC17. Take a bit of powder and then go just under the eye. If you have got a lot of lines, a lot of wrinkles under your eye, I'd probably suggest not setting with powder, because it can make everything really heavy. I tend to put powder on because I get a lot of lines if I don't. A lot of lines and creases underneath my eye if I don't set. Right. Highlight. I'm going to use one of my favourite highlight palettes, which is the LA Splash Luminous palette. And I'm going to use my 134 Luxe Powder Fusion brush from Zoeva. And I'm going to go in with the shade Lumos. So take a little bit, just under your cheekbone, on top of your cheekbone even. And I'm just doing circular motions, just adding that on, so you can see. You don't want too much, otherwise you will end up looking like Tin Man. So you can see this when you move into the light. Obviously when you're not in the light, you're not going to see it. It just gives you that little bit of a glow. And take a little bit onto the tip of my nose, just there. Not too much. And then just a little bit down the bridge. I also like to take a tiny bit just above each of my brow bones. Just gives your face that little bit of depth. And lastly, Cupid's bow. You want to put a tiny bit here, because if you go too far up, it makes it look like you're sweating. So just pop a little bit on and dab it. For the lips, decisions, I am going to use Barry M's lip liner in chocolate. It is one of my favourites. And I'm just going to outline my lips. I do overline my lips because I have really small lips and they just look silly if I don't. Don't worry if they are a mess, because we are going to be filling it in with lipstick. I'm then going to go in with one of my MAC lipsticks, which I have to find. I found it. There we go. And I'm going to use the shade Try Again, which is this sort of brownie nudie shade. So I'm just going to line my lips. Try and get it as close to your lip liner as possible so it blends two together. I am going to top it with a gloss, just because I do like a gloss. And I'm going to use Decisions. I'm going to use Rusted. I ain't going to go with a dark one, but I think I will. There you go. Don't put too much on, or else it goes really thick and clumpy. So I'm going to set it with my NYX setting spray. This is a matte finish. You can use a dewy finish, whatever you prefer. I like a matte finish. Let that dry. That's your finished look. What I am going to do, because it is festival and because I love being extra, I'm going to add some face gems. I can get them off. These face gems were actually gifted to me. They are from Amazon. They do come in a pack of 6, I believe. All I'm going to do is get that in the middle and then press that down. Get the other bits. They do stick really well. Just going to take these under eye bits all I'm going to do is just pop it on my cheeks just so they meet with the edge of my eyeshadow. Same on this side. Really sticky. I'm really impressed. There we go. Lost my glitter. I did get it out somewhere. Got that much stuff on here. Oh, here we go, they fell on the floor. This glitter is the Unicorn Chunky Glitter, and it's from Charisma Beauty. I have not used these before, so it's a first. Although I don't think you'll be able to see it, but it does look pretty amazing. There is stars, there's fine glitter, chunky glitter. I love some glitter. So I'm going to add some of that on as well. Just have to find my glitter glue. Oh, here we go. Look at this, I've been all organised. This is NYX glitter glue. I'm just going to pop a bit on the back of my hand. You don't need a great deal. It does come off really easy. Just going to take a flat brush, tiny bit of product, stick that back down, it's coming up, and then I'm just going to pop a little bit just round here. The same brush, I'm just picking up some of the glitter. I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but I will show you. All I'm doing is just dabbing it on. Just gives it that little bit of extra sparkle. There we go. Oh, and I've got an air in it. There we go. Exactly the same on the other side, just a little bit, just dab it on. That's it. Don't need a lot, it does goes a long way. Stuff it worn out, may as well pop it up to the top. Just be careful not to put too much in one place, else you end up with a clump. Again, same on this side, so bringing it up to meet in the middle. Just because, who doesn't love a bit of glitter? Just inside the lid there's quite a lot of really fine purple glitter, so I'm just popping that on where there's any gaps, just to get that to stand out. Just think that bit. There we go. So there you have it. Super sparkly, super bright and in your face. Best of a look. If you did like it, then feel free to subscribe to my channel. Yeah, and I will be doing some more videos, and I will be posting them onto my Facebook, my Instagram, and onto my YouTube. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again.